Let's dive right in, shall we? Picture this, a world just after a devastating nuclear disaster. The cities completely vanished. The forests are dead silent. If you were standing in the middle of this post-nuclear wasteland, you'd probably think, well, that's it, life is totally gone. But humanity's fragility? That's really only half the story. Sure, we aren't exactly built to handle extreme environments, but nature has some absolutely wild contingency plans up her sleeve. Today, we're cracking open nature's ultimate survival manual to figure out exactly how life survives the completely unendurable.
In this explainer, we're going to flip through that manual and uncover the unique recovery methods of Earth's toughest creatures. We'll be hitting 5 main chapters today: Built for the Wasteland, the Master DNA Fixers, Suspended Animation and Dormancy, the Ultimate Survivor, and finally, Lessons for Human Resilience. So let's get into it.
Chapter 1. Built for the Wasteland. So right off the bat, we're talking about raw, brute force evolutionary toughness. We're looking at creatures that rely on physical behaviors and incredibly slow metabolisms to just mitigate extreme exposure. Surviving a harsh environment isn't some lucky fluke, right? It's the payoff of millions of years of successful adaptation. Take scorpions, for example. These guys evolved over 430 million years ago. Now, despite the urban legends, they aren't totally immune to a nuke. But their ridiculously slow metabolisms and super hardy bodies mean they can survive for months without a single drop of water or a bite of food. That gives them a massive, massive edge in a wasteland. Crocodiles are a pretty similar story. They hit the scene over 200 million years ago, literally hanging out with dinosaurs, and they survived mass extinctions mostly thanks to unbelievably strong immune systems and just pure evolutionary grit.
Now that naturally brings us to what is probably the ultimate pop culture survival myth. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. Can cockroaches really survive a nuclear war? It's one of those questions that just won't go away, so let's finally set the record straight. The short answer? Well, not exactly. A direct nuclear blast would absolutely vaporize them, no question. But if you look at their unique adaptations, it makes sense why the myth exists. First off, their flattened bodies let them squeeze deep into cracks, totally escaping the worst of the immediate surface-level destruction. The real secret, though, is biological. It's their incredibly slow cell division. You see, radiation does its absolute worst damage to rapidly dividing cells. So the cockroach's biology naturally acts like a built-in shield against massive doses of radiation. They aren't completely indestructible, but man, they are incredibly resilient.
Chapter 2. The Master DNA Fixers.
So we're shifting the manual's focus away from external physical armor and diving into some absolutely mind-blowing internal cellular recovery methods, because honestly, the real survival magic usually happens at the microscopic level. Take the fruit fly. The ones buzzing around labs worldwide. It turns out they have highly efficient DNA repair systems and a super fast life cycle. This combo actually lets them endure radiation doses that would completely devastate much larger animals. Or look at the Arctic midge. This tiny insect spends its life in brutal, freezing conditions. How does it make it? By using remarkable cellular repair mechanisms to fight off extreme environmental stress and severe dehydration. Scientists are obsessed with studying both of these creatures precisely because of their absolute mastery over internal cellular recovery.
To really grasp how this repair works in even more extreme cases, like with the beetloid rotifer and the microscopic roundworm, we need to break it down. Step 1. Imagine intense radiation literally shattering their DNA into hundreds of tiny pieces. For, 99% of life on Earth, that's game over, right there. Done. But step 2, their extraordinary cellular repair mechanisms instantly kick into gear. And step 3, their genetic material is entirely rebuilt. It's like watching a microscopic miracle happen in real time. They take on unimaginable damage and then literally stitch their shattered genetic code back together to just keep living. It's wild.
Chapter 3. Suspended Animation and Dormancy.
Okay, so if you can't just tank the physical damage, and you don't have the tools to repair the cellular damage, what do? Well, nature's next trick is to literally press the pause button. Brine shrimp, which you might actually know as sea monkeys from those old comic book ads, they use something called a cyst. Basically, it's a dormant egg capsule that can just sit there, totally inactive, for years. It's an unbelievable backup plan to just avoid the threat entirely. While they're chilling in this state, they resist extreme temperatures, severe dehydration, and surprisingly high levels of radiation. They literally just wait out the danger until water comes back, and then boom, they hatch like nothing ever happened.
But dormancy isn't just for eggs. Just think about the wood frog during the dead of winter.
Get this, an astonishing 66%. We're talking nearly 2/3 of the water in its entire body freezes completely solid. Its heart completely stops beating. It stops breathing entirely. It enters a state of deep suspended animation. Yet, as soon as spring arrives and things warm up, it just thaws out and hops away. The cellular protection systems required to survive that kind of freezing process are heavily studied by researchers, mostly because we desperately want to understand how any living thing can resist that level of extreme structural damage.
Chapter 4. The Ultimate Survivor.
All right, we've seen the armored survivors, we've seen the DNA fixers, and we've marveled at the masters of dormancy. But now, it's time to build up to the undisputed heavyweight champion of nature's survival manual. And surprisingly, the undisputed champ is incredibly tiny. We're talking just 0.5 millimeters long. Yep, we're talking about the tardigrade, affectionately known to a lot of us as the water bear. The absolute toughest creature on planet Earth is practically microscopic.
What's truly staggering here is the juxtaposition. On one side, you have this microscopic, half-millimeter, squishy-looking body, but on the other side, you have the massive, deadly, seemingly unsurvivable environments it can effortlessly withstand. We're talking extreme heat, crushing ocean trench pressure, freezing cold, literally the vacuum of outer space. I mean, tardigrades can withstand radiation doses thousands of times greater than what would kill a human being. So how in the world is this tiny little animal capable of all this?
Well, it all comes down to a biological superpower called cryptobiosis. When conditions turn deadly, the tardigrade enters this intense, dormant state. Its metabolism nearly stops entirely. It loses almost all of its body water. But here is the real kicker. It's shielded by these unique DNA-protecting proteins that it produces specifically for this state. I'm not kidding. They've literally been exposed to the vacuum and cosmic radiation of outer space and then brought back to Earth perfectly alive. It is the ultimate biological shield.
Chapter 5. Lessons for Human Resilience.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground in Nature's Survival Manual today, and all of this actually builds toward our own future. I absolutely love this quote we pulled directly from the source material. It says, "Resilience isn't always about one special ability. Sometimes it's about millions of years of successful adaptation. Surviving an extreme environment requires a highly diverse toolbox. As we've seen, survival can range from simply flattening out and hiding underground like the cockroach, all the way to the microscopic wizardry of completely rebuilding shattered DNA like the rotifer."
So what does this all mean? Why does this matter? And what should you really take away from this explainer? It matters because these creatures are essentially biological treasure maps. By studying the Arctic midge, the tardigrade, or that microscopic roundworm, scientists are actively unlocking the secrets to radiation medicine. Think about it. The cellular recovery methods these animals use could eventually revolutionize our own medical treatments, giving us the tools to better repair our own cellular damage. And on top of that, these biological miracles might be exactly what we need to protect our astronauts as they traverse the hostile, radiation-soaked environments of deep space.
Nature has spent hundreds of millions of years writing and refining this survival manual. We're just finally learning how to read it. So I want to leave you with a question to ponder today. Which of nature's extreme survival adaptations will ultimately be the key to humanity's future in the stars? Will it be the tardigrade's protective proteins, or maybe the rotifer's DNA stitching? It's pretty fascinating to think about, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparked your curiosity to go out and learn even more.